So, I decided this morning, right? I am in my Inspire Praise Bible. Is it going to let me switch the camera? Well, it's not going to let me switch the lens. So, I decided that I wanted to go and I pull up this Bible for my devotion this morning, right? I listening to my King James Bible, but I wanted to be in my Inspire Praise Bible. Why I wanted to be in this Bible is because I wanted to, you know, color. I felt a little creative this morning, so I wanted to color while I was listening to the 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 Bible verse that I was listening to. So long story short, I go back to the front of the Bible like when I finish where I was. I'm going back just to look through because that is another thing that I like to do with this Bible. I like every so often I like to look through and see the different things that I have colored and also the different notes because it is a journaling Bible. Let me show it. Can y'all see it? Yes. So I like to look back through what I've colored and notes that I have made on different days, different parts that I've highlighted, different, just wherever I was because it's a journaling Bible. I use it before I got my study Bible. My study Bible I don't break it in yet. I don't know. It's on. Me and my study Bible have a bond, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, and I'm going to get to the point where I mark it up. But what prompted this video this morning was that like I said, I went back to the front of the Bible because I was looking at the stickers. It comes with stickers too, right? And right, the inscription that I wrote to myself, this Bible is a gift, right? It was a gift to myself, and I don't need to read it, but it was a gift to myself, right? And it was a gift to myself for my first 40-day fast in 2023, right? It was an ambitious undertaking because I had not been baptized yet, right? But the past 5 years, He's been pruning me, for want of a better word. When I was still kind of into new age years, like I'm in my little initiation season, so I don't know if I can call it an initiation. I was claiming to be a high priestess, not realizing that was witchcraft, but God has been pruning me in this season of my life, for sure. And that was my first 40-day fast. And I stress and say 40-day because I have done different fasts at different points in time. And I'm not going to go into the first one, but why I wanted to talk about this 40-day fast, and I'm going to send this to anybody out there in a relationship, right? Because it just hit me this morning, right? I did this fast, right? And every single time, if you are ever in a relationship and you are wondering whether or not this person is who you're supposed to be with, if and I won't even say just a relationship, if you're ever in a point in life and you are wondering whether or not you are where you're supposed to be in according to God's will and purpose for your life, go on a fast. Go on a fast. Go, and not like a play fast. No, not like a play fast. Like legit, really, really go on a fast. Like take the word of God seriously and go on that. Be prepared though. Let me stress. Let me stress. You should be prepared. Your life, your life, your life, your life. Be prepared for the madness. Be prepared for the chaos. Be prepared for your life to just be prepared for just be prepared for everything that can be shaken to be shook, right? Do not do this lightly, but if it is that you're about to make any serious decision, if it is that you're about to, every time that I've been in a relationship and I'm about to make this serious step and I'm going to do and really tie myself to this person, I do a fast in the past. And so I've done it twice. Let me not even just say every time. I've done it twice. I've done it twice so far. When I tell you that God will tear it down, if you've been praying to God to show you whether or not you're supposed to be with this person, if whether or not you're supposed to do, and you're not getting clear answers, or you feel like you're getting mixed signals, I will tell you mixed signals is the devil. I will tell you mixed signals is the enemy trying to set you up, because God is not a God of confusion. So anytime that is happening, go on a fast. Go on a fast. Go on a fast. Let me tell you how quickly the demons, right, in this person manifested that I was dating. Let me tell you how quickly, like, my 40-day fast, the 2023 may have been, and there are sometimes I will tell you, life lives hard in my life. There are some periods where I have, okay, and I would not wish it on anybody. 2023, yo, after this fast in March, and I did it soon, and I did this 40-day fast, and I did this 40-day fast dry. Jesus, wet. Let me tell you that everything in my life that could shake, shook. Let me tell you, this person that we're talking marriage and big. Let me. And when and Lord, Lord, and it needed to happen, and it needed to happen, and it needed to happen, because there is no way I could have. It would have been settling and settling in the worst way, because there's no way I would have been able to do what God called me to do in my life, because they were so needy and narcissistic, and it was constantly pouring into this person, and it would but then it gives me a different understanding and a different perspective that I never had. And let me tell you that it tore me down. Let me tell you that it tear me down. Let me tell you that it broke me down so bad. Why? Because this person on paper, should not even have been in my stratosphere, much less be in my oxygen. And I'm not being who. And this is the thing, that I'm struggling with, right? Because for so long, people have told me that I am arrogant and conceited, and I don't know if I must claim it, but there's a period in time where people didn't even call me by my name. My name was the bitch. And when you said it, like in there's if you said it, then they knew exactly who you were talking about, and there was no question. And like people, so it's like a thing. I've been told that I'm too, so it's hard. So I'm struggling with acknowledging what is my worth and not feeling guilty about it because people have made me feel guilty about it for so long. And it's so wild when I look around now and see this massive trend of um daddy's girls and girls do the things that the girl your girlie was doing, right? And people were making me feel so horrible about. That's why you need to not give two shits about people. But I really thought that, and you have to be careful whose opinions you listen to, because the people who were telling me these things, right, were people who I thought had my best interest at heart. And I don't even know how I would have think that, because I was so dumb. And even in this fast, right, to tie into that, in this fast, this chick, right, who, so the dude that I'm with ends up breaking up with me. No, let me give you some backstory with that. Because I was telling him that maybe we should separate because I'm doing the fast and I'm feeling like, all right, we're not married just yet. So living together and doing all of, and like God is convicting me that living in sin is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I want to find the Bible verse. I want to find, all right, so God telling me that I don't need to find it, but God had a Bible verse where he was telling me that he was disgusted with me, but it's because I'm proclaiming his name before pagans and claiming his righteousness. He's not shaming me because to shame me right now it to be shaming himself. And when I read that, I was shamed like dog. Like, God convicted me with that Bible verse. I went to find it. I went to find it, but it's in here, so it's not even going to be hard for me to find it. But it's one of those verses that's like, I'm not breaking up with you, but I don't think we should continue like living like this until we're really ready to take that step into marriage and really commit to ourselves to each other, right? And his brother was going through something at the time, and I felt he really needed to be there for his brother, because one thing, I will say, God gives me dreams and he speaks to me in my dreams, I will say. So he was showing me that his brother was in a crisis and he kind of needed some real support. And in my thinking, he's saying that he's wanting to like be this type of person for his family and his brothers. I'm saying like, all right, yes, maybe right now you do need to be spending more time with him because he does need you, because he is spiraling and we're not ready just yet to step into, that whole commitment of marriage fully. So let's not, right? So let's just separate and move. I'm not breaking up with you or anything like that, but let's just not do the cohabitation. Sage is not with me. She's gone to Jamaica for vacation, and so I'm saying like I'm moving out of the bedroom and in her room, and like not telling you that you have to rush and leave, get your stuff together, because I know this is like a bigger, it would have come out of the blue unexpectedly because we were fine, but like I'm saying, I'm fasting and God is convicting me, so I can't in all conscience, good conscience, like continue to live like this, because I don't want God to sin me. Because I was also like, I just never want God to, because like it's a thought that was in my head. If God is mad at you, who do you go to, right? If God is upset with you, who you got to get God? Who you get, how you get back in him good graces? Like, if you're doing something and you know it's wrong, and he's gotten to the point where he's definitely pissed off and him don't have no tolerance, because like people like to talk about Jesus and the New Testament, but I was in a period of my life where I was thinking, the Old Testament is like, him same word is the same, like him saying don't change in mind. So that means that the Old Testament no done just because him coming with the New Testament. So that means that the shit in the Old Testament is still very valid. And why people forgetting that this is the God that like slew peoples, like entire peoples, wipe them out, send them, like he's not necessarily somebody to play with. So if he's vexed with you and he decides to curse you, like forget man and witchcraft and all that food. If God curse you, right? What do you do? Like, that was something that I was pondering heavily at the time, and I was just like, yo, I don't want God to curse me, you know. And I seen signs of, and I was getting all sorts of dreams of how my glory was being stolen and how things were trying to kill me, and my life was I want to say my life was fucking up, but I'm trying to find another word. Like, I'm trying to, I'm trying to not curse as much, because don't is that thing where you're saying I'm supposed to talk like it's vulgar language is not a good. Anyways, so my life was fucking up hard, hard, hard. Things that were supposed to work, things that usually work, just was not working. And then all of a sudden things that like just would not work for him just all of a sudden just start working. Like, things was going well, and I was happy that things were going well for him, but my life was fucking up hard, and I had no confidence that he genuinely was like some the type of support that I really could lean on. And really, I, so he was doing all the things, like we were living together, he was paying all the bills at the time, because my job had furloughed everybody, and he was taking care of us. But you know, when somebody not doing something with a glad heart, so like you feel guilty and it just doesn't feel comfortable. And in all my life I've never had that. Like, I had just never had that. um I'm used to men wanting to do things for me and going out of their way to do things for me, and to make sure that I'm comfortable, and to make sure that I don't want for anything. So it was just like a really awkward, um it was just awkward for me, because I just never experienced it before. And then to just think of that it was somebody who I don't want to say lower my standard, because that sounds conceited, but like, we need to get back to like knowing our worth though, and knowing what we're compatible with. Because me still being in that little weird space, and that little weird space is how I ended up with Sage's dad anyway, because of listening to that. You think you're too good for, you think right, you only date a certain type of guy and you shouldn't do that, and blah, 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 but you know why. If it is, you know what you know, like, don't let anybody, and you're the one who have to live with what you have to live with. Do not let anybody make you come off of your standards, because it's you have to live with it at the end of the day. And it just never felt right. So doing the fast and like really asking God, like, what am I doing? Because like, where you, like, why you have me here? And then I'm in this situation, like, I'm here, I moved here because you told me to come and move here. You placed me here. You said this is where you wanted me. You said this, as I was going to meet my husband here. This is where I needed to be. I thought this was who you wanted me to be with, hence me fasting and praying to like confirm. And this was the second time. This was the second person that I ended up with, and thinking that it was God. But yeah, the devil is. But I should have known better. And being too eager to have things and the things in your own timing versus God's own timing will lead you to destruction every time. So I'm praying and I'm asking, like, why am I here? Like, why am I really here? Is this really who it is I'm supposed to be? Because this is kind of like a real up. But like, things are starting to happen for him now, right? Like, I'm seeing that I'm praying for him and good things are happening for him. So I'm like, I'm confused. Like, is this a good thing? Like, isn't like, I never had a lot of the spiritual discernment and maturity that I have now to understand that transference was happening. Like, his crosses was coming on me and my grace was going on him. But it was literally one night, all right, and he would talk about how he always has nightmares, but anytime that we were together, like, he would never have a nightmare. He'd be able to sleep all through the night, peaceful sleep, never experience it otherwise. Love it. I started I never I never had nightmares. Never had nightmares. I've never in my life had a nightmare. Things are trying to like the dreams, right? And then until one night, something literally was trying to kill me, and God had to step in and be like, no, you cannot kill her. I'm not going to allow it. And it was so freaking mad. It was so freaking mad, and it was wild the night that it happened, because it was like in the middle of the fast, as I said, and doing prayers, and the prayers that I was praying to break soul ties, if there are any soul ties, and to get rid of any sex spirits, because it was something that he was dealing with, like in terms of, and I never understood fully the spirits that come or attach themselves to masturbation and to pornography. And it was something that I had struggled with in the past. Well, not struggled with, it was something that I had dealt with in the past, but I had gotten over it, and I know that he was still dealing with it, but it wasn't a thing that I judged, because I was like, all right, like I get it, all right, people, it's a thing, but I never understood the spirits and the spiritual implications behind it, and me saying those prayers upset the demons his demons that had transferred over onto me. So it was a whole lot of so long story short, end of the fast, at the end of the fast, blow up, I have a big blow up, he moves out. Know that when I had moved in with him, right, this same brother that I'm telling him that he needs to go and take hold of, right, when we had moved in, I had given him all of my furniture, because we were moving, it was just going to be too much stuff for where we're moving into. And I'm like, all right, and his brother had nothing, so I was like, all right, go ahead and yeah, go ahead and give it to your brother. Everything's brand new. Everything was so nice, so comfy. I was so proud of my first bed. I'm going to I'm going to post a picture of it. I was so proud of my first. I was proud of it. Because it was my first grown up purchase. Like, I've lived at home with and on my father's credit card and on my father's dime my entire life. The beds that I've lived in, my grandfather was an awesome carpenter. These are mahogany beds that are older than me. I've never bought a bed in my life, and I needed to move out, because like I never lived and done, like I'd never been a grown up before. So I had to. This time where I learned to do that. Anyway, so I was proud of it, but I was like, all right, fine. He doesn't have anything, and we don't have the space for everything. And your stuff it makes more sense, because your stuff is bigger to be able to accommodate like a family setting versus my little dainty me and Sage stuff. So alright, go ahead. We weren't there for a whole year. Dude, all of my all of my shit was gone. Like, he sold everything. I'm like, what do you mean he sold all of my, by the time that we're supposed to be separating, I'm like, okay, like, and not that I would want it back, because I know who his brother is, and no disrespect, but yeah, no. But just like everything in less than a year, like he sold all of my shit, didn't have anything, and I was like, all right, whatever. And he moves out, and just leaves me there with no furniture, and I'm panicking because he's gonna come back. I wonder like what's happening, because all of our stuff, all of the stuff is gone. Like, I'm on the floor. She heard me talking. Anyways, yeah. So on the floor, life a mess. Not working because work has furloughed me. Like I said, he has left. Getting evicted. Sage is coming back from Jamaica. Where the fuck am I going? What am I doing? Don't know. Yeah, and like I said, this is at the end of the fast, right? And and why I was mentioning before, you also have to know your standards and know who you're listening to, and be mindful of who you take advice from, right? When I was in college, there was this chick who I met who she legit told me that she didn't like me and I would never be friends. But she practically lived at my house for the entire time I was in college. She would come home with me. My Like she would eat at my house. My helper would like cook and wash for us and all of these good stuff. She'd do homework. My parents, they loved her. Like them literally would have preferred her for a child. Like when daddy and my stepmother would have literally have preferred her. They thought she was the perfect young lady. When she literally never liked me. I'm fully convinced she was a mermaid, right? I'm fully convinced. Or some type of monitoring spirit. But she used to do like just tell me just the random message shit. But she really never liked me and I never understand it. Like it was a thing with me females for or maybe she never liked me. Eventually she may have come to like me, I don't know. But initially she really never liked me. Um but long story short is after teachers college I got into the university that she wanted to go to and she never get into it and I know she was vexed because I had gotten in and of course started paying for it and I don't have any tuition and one day I had brought her on campus to hang out because there was this guy, Rassi. I loved him. He was my friend. Like I thought my brother. Like I love him with my heart. Like not in that any I had a no, I just I left today. I did love Ratty, and I thought he would have been the perfect person for her because I did love her too. Like I thought she was my best friend, and I had the best intentions for her. And I thought the two of them would have made the perfect couple. So I brought her up there, and I never know. I never understand the signs of jealousy either. But she had told me at the time, right? I had just broken up with my ex, who was a politician, and she had met him, and I was on campus and I was talking to this law student and she was like, you know, you're up here and you should be different. You get a chance to reinvent yourself. You shouldn't only just date guys who are only date rich guys or guys who are doing certain things or things. You know, you don't want to become off as superficial and shallow. You should expand your horizon and not understanding, not thinking it was genuine advice. I was like, okay, fine, that's valid. I can just have that one relationship is still going to be. I can look back at it and say I had one of those 20 in my 20s fling, and be able to say yes, I've done that, right? Because I was that person who always wanted to say like, yeah, I did the thing. So I was like, all right, that makes sense, fine. So I'll not date the lawyer or look for somebody else who is, or the doctor or whoever it is. I'll find one of the hood dudes. And I found one of the hood dudes. Dumbest advice, dumbest piece of advice I'd ever listened to, but I thought she was so much older and wiser and more glamorous than me. And it's a thing that my father used to always tell me, be careful of the advice. He used to tell me that people were jealous of me, and I thought my life was such a shit at the time, not knowing the not understanding. You never can't know the use of them tail until they gone, and I never just value what it was. I just appreciate the opportunity and the life that my dad gave me, right? So I never understand jealousy. Like I said, Jezebel and jealousy come in a whole lot of a variety of different faces. So long story short, I end up with the sage's dad. But mentioned that we ended up falling out because I had loaned her some money, and she, at the time when I loaned her the money, she was in a better paying job than me, and I had told her that I'm lending you this money that I have to do something in particular, so I need it back by Y time. She makes more money than me at the time, right? But she said she just needed to pay her car insurance right quick, so could I loan her the money? Alright, fine, bet. Time comes for me to get the money to do what I told her that I needed to do because it was something official that I really needed to do. Like I did not have any time to be like itch with it. stop answering my calls, not paying me any attention. I'm like, what in the hell? Like, how are you gonna do this? Like, to the point where I had to call her mom and be like, Mommy, this is what's happening. I need this because she's going to fuck up my life in a real serious way. And that's what I had to do. And she didn't even come and give me my money. Like, she sent her brother. Like, she wouldn't talk to me. She was mad at me for going to her mother for my money. But like, I'm like, I need my shit. I told you I needed it. So I hadn't spoken to her because I don't even know if she knows Sage to tell you how long it's been. I don't think she's ever met Sage. So I haven't spoken to her in years. Years. She calls me. I don't even fucking know how she gets my number. She calls me. She's in England right now. I don't understand how. I was so fucking surprised, but I thought it was a good thing at the time. You have to be wise, spiritually discerned, right? I never knew about the things of the spirit, but I do think she's a mermaid now that I understand things differently. She calls me. Um, and we're going through the whole thing, and I'm telling her what's going on, thinking that like it's a sign from God. And of course she's doing so much better than me in life, and she's showing me her 3 floor house and her Range Rover, and how all these things are going so great in her life, and I'm on the ground panicking about to be getting evicted, right? And she's telling me all of the things that are going so great for her in England and all of these wonderful things. And this, she used to live in my house. She used to sleep on my bed, right? All of the things. She's like, oh, you should go home. You should just go home. You should just call this a day and go home and just be done with it. And are you trying to make it sound like your life is so great or that he was doing so wonderful? And I'm like, what do you mean making it sound like it was great? Like, it is what it is. I was home. He was taking care of us because I'm not working. And all of a sudden, like, shit just, like, went left. And I never understood that it was just a fast because we just were not supposed to be together at the time. I never understand how monetary and spirits worked either in terms of what was breaking and shaking. I never understand spells either because and word curses and how all of that work and how there's more in that where I'll go into in a different time. I'm really curious about how that tie in with her and the witchcraft and the spell work. Maybe we'll make another video on that. But she was there, and all of a sudden she's like back in my life and trying to convince me to either go home or move in with her auntie and all sorts of madness. But I'm like, she could have, like, if it had been me in that position, I'd have just sent my friend the money for them rent, so then would have stopped stress if it was all that was necessary. Like I said, this bitch is making money. Like, you're showing me a Range Rover. You're not broke. Like, it could have been a simple thing, but you're telling me all sorts of things. We're not really trying to help me, but just listening to me moan and just groan and just be depressed and cry and all sorts of heartbreaking and telling me all sorts of some defeatist things. But I call her on something, and I wasn't even aware that I was calling her on it. I was just talking about something because, like I tell you, we're talking again. Like, we're talking at 2 o'clock in the morning because I think that's like 10 o'clock or their time or her time or whatever. And we are there talking, and I made mention of the fact that it's because of you how I ended up with Sage's dad, because he said ABCXYZ. And she's like, no, don't blame me for something. And I'm not gonna blaming you. I'm just saying that, do you remember when you were saying that to me? And I really listened to it, and I'm just saying that's how comes I ended up talking to him and giving him a chance, because I really thought I was valid. At the time, I'm not realizing what was going on or why she got so defensive, and then she just stopped talking to me, and I'm like, what happened? And that was so weird. Like, what did I do? Because I really wasn't blaming her. But then it didn't take me until recently. It took me until recently to fully understand that. And God gave me revelation on that. But what I'm why I just tied it in to say is that be careful. Alright, the long that long story time started on the topic of, if it is you want to know if something in your life is genuinely from God, if it is that you are discerning the times of your life correctly, go on a fast. Go on a proper fast, go on a real serious fast, like really take it seriously in your word and talking with God. But while you're doing it, be careful of who will pop up in your life. Like, don't think it is a blessing. Some are a bit discerning. These are people who you haven't spoken to in years, who will just out of the blue pop up. These old relationships who have died, and they probably died for a reason. These people who only come when there is the crisis and trauma. Like, be careful of who reappears when you're doing a fast. But if you are unsure, yeah man, if you are unsure, I definitely recommend it. Like, this bible can tell you. If the pages of this bible could talk, whoo, Lord Jesus, yes, 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 yes. But yeah, that was my story time.